Hello, my friends. It is a gorgeous day in Omaha, Nebraska, and I have a topic I want to share with you guys as I'm out here enjoying this amazing day in our apartment complex, which I want to just show you guys our apartment complex here right quick. I'm going to turn my camera around and hopefully you guys can see this if I can figure out how to do all this. There we go. I think it's going to turn around. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's go that way. There we go. Okay. So our apartment complex, my friends, is way cool. So you'll see there, these are some of the, they're almost like townhomes here in the apartment complex. And then as we come on around here, run across some of the mailboxes down in the distance there, you can see one of the bigger apartment complexes. Same way with over here, you can see them. And then down the way here, right at the end of this building, is actually an apartment that we're going to be moving into in the month of first part of June, I believe. We're going to be moving into that, and we're moving in there because it's got a little extra room that we're going to build into a recording studio, so we can bring a little more quality to some of our videos and things of that nature. So it's an opportunity. I just wanted to share that stuff with you guys. And oops, now I got to bring this back. Bear with me here a moment. Hopefully, oh yeah, that didn't give you what you wanted, did it? How about this? There I am. That's what you wanted to see, me, right? I don't think so, but anyway, this is what you get. So anyway, as we are thinking about what you just saw in our apartment complex and the beauty of this place, I mean, it's an awesome place, really. And we've chosen to stay here because we love the amenities, we love the area of Omaha, and you know, here's a little secret. I'm not going to tell everybody this, but hey, you know, when it's really cold outside and there's like 2 foot of snow, I'm able to stand in the top floor at our apartment and I drink my coffee and I watch everybody scoop snow. It's like all these guys scooping snow. It's like so awesome that I don't have to scoop snow. Okay, so that's yeah, okay. Do with that as you please, right? This makes me sound like I'm really lazy, which in the wintertime I kind of am. I really hate being out in the cold. So for me, living in an apartment and making the decision to stay in an apartment was the right decision. Now, I want to share some things with you today about decisions, okay? I just showed you all these really cool apartments and showed you where we live, and I'd love to be able to go and show you the swimming pools and the basketball courts and the weight rooms and all the stuff in there. It's a really cool place, okay? Well, do you realize that everything here is the result of someone's decision? Now you may be looking at that and going, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Duh, Kylan, you know, somebody's got to make a decision on that stuff, of course, you know. Well, have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about what you use when you make decisions? Have you ever thought about what you view as important when you're making decisions? Have you ever thought about the process that you use when you make decisions? Have you ever thought about how your habits impact your ability to make decisions? Have you ever thought about the impact of your decisions on other people? Have you ever really just taken the time to dive into the decision-making process? I'm sorry, my camera's messing with me a little bit here. Sorry about that. But have you ever really taken the chance to really just dive into the decision-making process in your life? What do you use to make decisions? How do you make those decisions? Why do you make the decisions that you make? Huh? Have you ever considered it? Have you ever considered it? See, I think decisions in most people's lives are made on 2 things. 2 basic things you use to make all of your decisions. Number one is your belief system. Your belief system drives your decisions. It does. Whether you believe it or not, your belief system drives your decisions. If you don't believe me, think about it for a minute. Think into it. Think about, why do you believe what you believe about religion? Why do you believe what you believe about faith? Why do you believe what you believe about business, money, education? Why do you believe these things? Huh? Where'd that belief system come from? Did it come just from you and your own thinking? Or did that thought come from someone else? That's an interesting thought, isn't it? I've had these discussions with people in terms of religion and politics. And one of the questions I always ask is, I love your approach, or I'm interested by your approach. Where did you get that idea? Where did that come from? What drives you with that thought? What motivates you with that idea? What gets you excited about that approach? And you know what I've learned? How many people will say, well, my family, or my dad, or my uncle, or someone, or my professor, or someone like that in their life, they influenced me. They helped me get to where I am today with my thinking. And I'm always intrigued by that. Because we're all products of someone else's thoughts first. And those thoughts, that education, that training, that something that comes from someone else is impacting your belief system. Now, the question I've always had is what I'm believing true? Is what I'm believing true? That's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. And I challenge you all to think about that. Is what you're believing true? If it is, how do you know? How do you know that what you're believing is true? Have you ever thought about that? Huh? What if, and the camera caught the trees. What if what your parents taught you was not true? Whoa. Okay, be careful with that one for a minute. You're coming back to say, Kylan, don't say that. It's like blasphemy to my parents. Well, I apologize. But what if what they taught you isn't true? What if what you've been taught in school wasn't true? What if what you've been taught on media wasn't true? What would that mean to you? How would it make you feel if you find out that someone at some point in time had lied to you? See, here's the thing I've learned is that people lie to us. People lie to us all the time, but it's not necessarily an intentional lie. Let me give you a real prime example. This is kind of a comical thing. My mom did a great job in raising me. She was absolutely an amazing mom. And I know not everybody can have the opportunity to say that. But here's the thing. My mom lied to me unintentionally, but nonetheless, she lied to me. And I was about 3 years old. 3 years old. Now you can picture this in your mind. I'm a little kid. We live in a farmhouse, and we're out in west part of our Valley County, and we lived right outside of Arcadia, Nebraska, and we're in this 2-story farmhouse, old wooden floors. The kind of old wooden floors that even had the furnace in the grate in the floor. It was like, in fact, I had lost one of my toys. I set it on there and it melted. on the furnace, you know. It's like, ah, but rabbit trail, sorry. Anyway, we grew up in that home, and I'll never forget, at 3 years old, my mom saying, hey, you're going to have a little brother. You're going to have a new friend come and live with you. This friend is going to be able to play ball with you. You're going to be friends for life. You know, it's like you get to have the privilege of having a brother come and stay with you and just become part of your life. And I'm like, I remember thinking how great this was going to be, how awesome this was going to be. So now, did anything that my mom say, was that untrue? Not necessarily. But there's a whole lot of stuff there that my mom didn't know, that my mom didn't understand at that point in time in her life. There was a whole lot of things that, had she known, she probably would have said differently, okay? But when I look back at it, she unintentionally lied to me at that moment of my life. Now you're like, Kylan, come on, really? Why? Okay, so now imagine, I'm 3. She brings home my little brother from the hospital. She told me that my little brother and I could play ball together. So she sets my little brother down on the floor, and I go grab my ball. She turned her back for just a few seconds. And what did I do? I threw my ball at my little brother. My brother cries. I got in trouble. That wasn't part of the deal, right? That wasn't part of the deal. I wasn't supposed to get in trouble for playing ball with my little brother because I was told I could play ball with my little brother. What do you do in that scenario? What do you do? What happened? What happened? At that moment, what my mom said to me was not true. Wasn't necessarily a lie. You know, my brother and I tried to play ball later, but that heavily impacted me. You know that? That heavily impacted my life. It heavily impacted my relationship with my brother. It really did. Because, see, him and I, we never really got along. By the time he was 3 years old, I was 6, right? And by the time he was old enough to begin playing ball and doing things with me, guess what? I was off doing other things already. So we never had that connection like my mom said that we would. We never did. In fact, I had a better connection with my younger brothers and my younger sisters, because by the time my sisters came in, I was already a teenager. And by the time my younger brother came around, you know, I was already 10, 12 years old. It was kind of cool to have that little brother, you know, at that point. But my brother right next to me, we just never really connected. We never really clicked. And I feel bad about it. Today, my brother's passed away. He's gone. And I never had that relationship with him I wished I would have, right? And I'll never, ever, ever in a million years would I ever blame my mom on any of that. But I remember thinking as a little kid that there were things I was told that weren't true. That happened to me when I was a little kid. It wasn't true. And I got in trouble for it. Now take that into adulthood. Take that into adulthood. Do you realize that there are things that people tell you? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a lie, but it doesn't mean that it's true for you either. And that's a key component to remember. So as we begin to think into our lives and we begin to evaluate and analyze our lives, we should be asking ourselves, what is true? What is true for right now? What is truth in the world around us as we speak? What is truth? Because that's a key component in the decision-making process, my friends. It absolutely is. And if we don't know how to seek out that truth in our lives, guess what? We're going to make a bad assumption about people around us. We're going to make a bad assumption when, others are trying to impact us positively. We're going to make bad assumptions. Okay? So we have to be able to evaluate, try to understand what's being said, understand the why behind what's taking place in our lives. Learn to understand what you believe and why you believe it. In another one of our videos, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about values, because values are another key component for our decision-making process. But today I want you to think about truth. Think about the truth in your life. What do you believe and why do you believe it? How do you evaluate that today? See, my mom didn't lie to me. I had a brother I could play ball with, that I could do a lot of things with. But at that moment, it wasn't a good one for me. At that moment, it was a lie. I couldn't play ball with him. There was a process that was not well understood, was not well described. And that made it an untruth in my life. You're going to have to learn to evaluate some of these things in your own life and why you believe what you believe. And it will help you in the decision-making process. I want to share with you another picture here, if I can get my camera to come up. When we look out across here, when you look out across that, this is right outside of our apartment complex. And if you'll notice, there's some construction going on. There's a building right here. I'll center up in the middle of the picture. Brand new building taking place. And this process, this building, this whole facility is the results of someone's decision. We're looking at the results of decisions that have been made. We're looking at the results of progress because of someone evaluating a truth around them and deciding that this needs to be done. This needs to be built. This needs to grow. This needs to be expanded. Think about that for a moment and tie it into your own life. You can see off in the distance, in the center of that image right now, that's Methodist Hospital, where our granddaughter was born. And that's a facility that I'm extremely grateful for, because quite honestly, it was an amazing experience for my daughter. It was an amazing experience for my granddaughter. And I am so grateful and thankful that someone evaluated the truth around them and made the decision that said, hey, our world needs this hospital. Our world needs this right now. Someone made that decision by evaluating the truth around them. And I have a healthy daughter and a healthy granddaughter as a result of it. The same is true with my son and my grandsons. They have facilities in their communities that allowed them to go in and be healthy and to bring into the world amazing grandchildren, grandsons. These are grandsons that I get to one day grow up and have an influence factor in and impact them. My friends, when we start thinking about the fact that we get to influence the next generation around us, that we get to influence our futures and our legacies and our lives, my question is to you: do you want to leave a life of legacy, or do you want to leave a life of something bigger, maybe a life of significance? If you want to leave a really big impact on the world, like Methodist Hospital big, make decisions. Make decisions that are good for you and good for other people. Do it through the process of evaluating truth. We'll be back next time as we begin to talk about the subject of values. We're going to follow that up and talk about faith. We're going to talk about a lot of different things in this decision-making process. So stay tuned. There's going to be more to come on this. All right, my friends, as I've challenged you with before, seek truth, gain wisdom, serve others. God bless.